Hello and welcome back, you beautiful people of YouTube. And today we are doing a review of the original Moondrop Spaceship IEM. Now, this IEM is right here, and I'm gonna try to focus the camera on it. As you can see, it's very small. Here's my finger for the scale. And this IEM is actually right now is retailing for $20, and we're gonna see if it's any good. And it was a very popular IEM when it was first released, and it was so popular that they went out of stock for it for uh, for a while, like maybe a couple weeks, and then it came back in stock later on. And I'm gonna try to find out, and I'm gonna try to talk with you guys, and I want to find out what is the appeal. That's what I'm focusing on, because the $20 IM, when it's $20, there is not a lot to complain about, because that's how much you pay for those things that sit in the checkout line of your local Walgreens. So let's get into it. Alright, so let's start with the basics. This IM is pretty easy to drive. It's one of the easiest to drive IMs, and I had no problem with anything. My laptop, my cell phone, the old iPod, everything drove it perfectly. And comfort is great for the IEM itself. When it's in your ear, it fits well, and it fits so well that you can actually go to sleep with it. And that is one of the things that a lot of owners of this IEM mention, that it is very easy to be side sleeping with. Now, there is one major problem with this IEM as far as the build goes. This cable right here, although it is a quality cable as far as sturdiness goes, it is not very pliable. You see, this thing, it's not very flexible. So when it sits in your ear like this, any gentle tug on the cable will bring the IM out of your ear. So that's the problem with the cable. And not only is it not flexible, it's also very microphonic. It will pick up all the noise from you rubbing against your shirt, or any gentle movement it will pick up. So what I do is I use one of these clips right here, and you can get them from AliExpress or anywhere else for that matter, wherever they sell them. And these clips are going to clip to your shirt, and then if you wear the IM, it won't be as microphonic, but it will still be a little bit microphonic. And that is about the basics. It doesn't come with a microphone. That's another thing to note. And let's get talking about the sound of this IM. That is what you guys came here, what I think about the sound. Now I'm gonna do step by step and try to be as detailed as possible. Now, starting with sound from bottom to up, the bass is interesting because in a long time I have not seen an IM that was so small, and it could produce the amount of bass that this IM actually produces. It's decent. None of the bass heads are gonna like it. None of the subwoofer guys are gonna like it. But it's for a small IM, it's got pretty decent bass. However, the problem with the bass is that the bass is just mid bass. There is not a lot of sub bass, and there is um, It's not textured either. There is no detail in the bass either. It's just like a big thump of bass. You know, it's uh, it's not very polished, is what I would say. Moving on, about the mids. The title of this video is called "I Don't Like Tricks." You guys are gonna see that, and you must be wondering, why did I name the title "I Don't Like Tricks"? Because the mids is where the biggest trick of this IEM lies. Now the mids from 1K to 3K, they are boosted about 7 to 8, 6 to maybe 9 dBs, and it's a pretty sharp. I mean, it's a it's a solid peak, and I have seen things like that before. And this IEM is trying to do the same things as the things that I've seen before with a hump like that. The the problem is that it's trying to achieve something that a good mid-centric headphone would do, like a Sennheiser HD 600 or 650, or some of the LCD2, something that has good mids. You can achieve them by having the driver be very efficient and very capable at reproducing the mids, or you can just increase the volume on the mids. When you increase the volume on the mids, it gives the perception that the mids are very good, but in reality that is just that is only a perception. The mids are not very good because they are not detailed, and there is no separation among the instruments and all that stuff. So if your driver is not capable and you boost the mids, the IM is going to end up sounding okay, could be shouty as well, but it's not the right way to do it. That's the biggest problem, and it's something I'm pretty neutral for it. I mean, I don't really recommend that manufacturers do that. A little bit of a bump is okay, like maybe 1 to 2K if you want. I mean 1 to 2 decibels, 3 decibels even. But that high of a bump, it's problematic. And it can be okay if your driver is capable, but if your driver is not capable of reproducing the detail and you give the bump, it's not going to, for the untrained ear, they are not going to be able to tell the difference. But for somebody who listens and does this as a hobby, yeah, I heard it. So I don't recommend it that manufacturers do that. As far as Treble goes, I mean Treble, the Treble I just discussed. As far as that is concerned, it has no harshness in it. It's a pretty warm tilt. Some people might say warm, some people might say dark. I think it's warm. The overall tonality is warm. The treble is not boosted or anything, but driver is not capable of reproducing the treble correctly and extending. You could have a warm headphone, but your treble could still be extended. Think of Odyssey, and this doesn't do that. So it's got okay treble. I don't really have any complaints, because although it's going away, I'm still a little bit treble sensitive, and it's it's always good when the treble is not really boosted, because I can enjoy that. Talking about tonality, I'll say it's a mid-forward sound, definitely, like I discussed, and it depends on the person if they are going to enjoy it or not. Talking about soundstage, I gotta give it some props there, because for its size, it manages to establish a pretty wide soundstage, and that is uncommon among IEMs of this size. and the scale is only wider. It's above average, wide, but it's not tall or deep. It's just wide. So I wouldn't say that it has verticality. It doesn't. As far as details go, it's not a detailed monster. It's alright. Imaging is decent. It's pretty. I mean, it's not really going to be something you can play games with, FPS, Call of Duty, Destiny, stuff like that. But it's alright. It's not bad imaging. I have heard bad imaging. It's not that. And another thing that I was impressed with were actually the dynamics and the dynamic range. It somehow manages to have good microdynamics, and I don't know how they were able to do it, but they do it. Now, moving on to my final thoughts, and this is where I will be the most critical, because this is where I have to appropriate everything. So the thing is that it's got a lot of things going for it. It's a small IM, it's cheap, it's made by Moondrop, which has made fantastic IMs in the higher ranges, higher price ranges. The reason I cannot recommend that you buy this IM is because there are much better options at the same price range, and all of them beat it pretty handily. You pick any of my recommendations, you will get a better sound than the Moondrop Spaceship. And here are my recommendations. The number one is the Venture Electronics Bonus IEM. That IEM beats this one pretty handily. Got an attached wire about similar size, a little thicker, and that does it. Now the IEM that beats it for being even less money is the KZ80E, the original copper driver. It's it's laughable when you listen to this one and then you put that one in, and you get the refinement in sound. You want to laugh at this thing, and yeah, that IM destroys this one. The last one that I want to talk about, that I really think is like blows this one out of the water and wins this debate in every way, is that the other IMs I talked about, they are not really side sleeping IM, right? So the one thing that Spaceship had going for it is that it's a side sleeping IM, and now there is one IM that beats it on sound and side sleeping, and that is Sony MH755. And when you get this one, this IM is small enough that you can sleep on your side with it, and this is actually $7 if you can get an original pair. And then this IM, actually you will have to spend a little bit more on a cable like this one, so that you can actually plug it in like this and use it with your cell phones, because the cable that it comes with is pretty short. And so the overall price is around half the price of the Spaceship, which is about $10. So $10 you get Sony MH755, and it beats, destroys, murders, and hides the body of the Moondrop Spaceship. And I'm sorry if you love this IM. I know a lot of people do, but it's not that great. And by the way, I do want to mention, if money is not no object, if cost no object, then what you want to get is, if you can find them still, is either a pair of Orisonics rocket that is smaller than this, I think, and it's way better at sound. Or you want to look at the Edimatics ER4XR, or maybe just look at the whole lineup. They are all pretty small, and those are your options. And you know, it's a critical review. I don't like to do these often, but this is the way it is. I'm sorry. That's my job. It's my job to save you money. And if you still want to go for them, just go for them. Nobody's stopping you. Just know that there are other options out there that are way better. And with that, I would like to conclude this video. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. If you like my face or my videos, either of those will work. I don't judge. Just subscribe, share, like. I don't know why I went into my announcer voice, but that is it. And see you guys soon. I love you.